न tvaṃ viprādiko varṇo न nāśramī nākṣagocaraḥ asaṅgo'si nirākāro viśvasākṣī sukhī bhava. You do not belong to Brahmana or any other caste, nor do you belong to any of the 4 ashramas. You are not perceivable by the senses, unattached, formless, and witness of all you are. Be happy. In the Nirvana Shatakam, we learnt Name Mrityu Shanka Name Jati Beda. One who exists as pure self, for him the pure self, there is no caste. And neither are the 4 ashramas, brahmacharya, grahastha, vanaprastha and sannyasa. He is the pure self, and he also has no purushartha to be undertaken, na dharma, na cha artha, na kama, na moksha, we learned. In the earlier verse, the preceptor taught how to be free, free of bondage and be at peace. Prashanti, eternal bliss as self. Continuing with that teaching, it is as though not expressed as such, the preceptor is telling, my son, if you have attained that freedom, then be aware in that state there is no caste. There are no castes and there are no ashramas. Dharma, artha, kama are prescribed for each ashrama, also for each caste, with the only goal to attain moksha, irrespective of the caste, irrespective of which ashrama one is. But when one has attained, nay, one has discovered himself to be pure self and has freed himself from the bondage of life, cycle of birth and death, then for such a liberated self, where is even the purushartha, where is even the need for moksha, and what is the relevance of any caste or any ashrama? As self, he illumines the mind and senses through the reflected consciousness, reflected through his mirror intellect. The senses illumined by the self, but the senses cannot perceive him, the self. They are illumined by him, the self, but they cannot perceive him, the self. Sunshine illumines the world, but the world of objects illumined by the sun cannot perceive the source of sunshine. Kenopanishad says, Na tatra chakshuh gacchati, na vak gacchati na mana, na vidya, na vijanima. That is, the eye does not go there, nor speech nor the mind. We have no overall knowledge of that, nor know it in all details. And then further verses goes on to say, what eyes cannot see, what mind cannot feel, but because of which the eyes can see, because of which the mind feels, that which ears cannot hear, but because of which the ears are able to hear. Know that to be Brahman. Remember the sage's expression, one cannot jump on one's own shoulders. Mind, senses are all illumined by self. But the mind and self cannot perceive or know the self with their own equipment, with their own competence, their own faculty. Self is ever unattached, asaṅgo'si. Suppose there is a light, very bright, at the entrance of your house in a village. There are some roadside people who stand there, use that light to read something, and then they go away. Will the light have any association or attachment or affinity towards those who used it to read and then those who went away after reading? The self exists. Creation somehow has mysteriously borrowed the illumination from the self and has sprung up somehow. What association or attachment or affinity will the self have with the creation that has thus emerged? Self is unattached to anything other than the pure existence self, to anything which is not the self, to anything which is matter, to the entire creation with all the elements within the creation. It is not attached. Few lines from Chinmaya's commentary. Thus, pure consciousness, as the illuminator, is completely detached from the entire world of objects. Self is without any form, as it is unconditioned by anything other than self. The conscious in us is the witness of the universe, viśvasākṣī, as the verse says. The idea that the self is a witness is repeated some 4 times in this very chapter. The concept of sarvasakṣī and viśvasākṣī is found in the Shveta Upanishad. Also, where Shveta Upanishad also where the Lord is described as the all-encompassing witness, indicating that the self is a disinterested onlooker upon all the pranks of the mind and the intellect. Thus, unattached, the seer, upon realizing himself to be the self, exists as per his true essential nature, bliss. Acharya thus ends the verse with the expression sukhī bhava, be the very nature of yourself, ananda, sukhī bhava. Hari Om Tat Sat.